Hi, I'm Ramin,
And I'm Dan.
and we're two blokes and a mic. And we're coming to you once again with something you should consider. More information for you as a business owner. This stuff is important. Today's episode is why standardization makes sense.
And why it's important.
Of course it's important. Otherwise, we wouldn't be wasting your time with it. So, Dan, you want to kick us off this morning, or
Yes.
what you doing there, bud?
Yeah. So one of the issues that we've seen amongst our many clients can be especially when in these modern times, when you have bring your own device and many other systems like that, standardizing on one platform rather than letting staff choose something,
Yes.
or as you grow, adding more people, adding more companies, having one standard for all of your tools is going to help you massively down the road to simplify and reduce costs for overall IT operations.
That's very true. It reduces costs and time spent on tasks.
Yeah.
Right. You become more efficient. One of the big things that we see in companies that don't standardize on how they handle email, how they handle equipment purchases, et cetera, is that we're always chasing our tails with regard to, okay, where did you buy that? Did you get a warranty with it? Is it the pro version of Windows? Is it the home version of Windows? All of this kind of nonsense. We spend a lot of time chasing purchases rather than solving problems for our clients.
So that's a great example. When you purchase something, purchase a new computer for a staff member, this is also quite a frequent thing.
Yes.
With new companies, they say, "Oh, just go out yourself, buy a laptop, bring it back, and we'll install.
We'll
that
reimburse
stuff
you or whatever.
Yeah,
but
we'll reimburse you,
Yeah.
and then we'll install our other stuff." Well, that's fine in a way if you're small, but having one source that you can go back to if and when that computer develops a problem, allows you to know, or whoever is managing that, whoever is managing the hardware, the warranty, all of the other stuff, the parts, that they can just go to one vendor and get exactly what they need. And otherwise, it's a case of looking, where did that person buy this from?
Correct.
What's the warranty? All of these things are automatically taken care of if you standardize. Your HR or your IT department or your office manager, whoever it is that's taking care of this stuff, they don't have to sort through piles of information to figure out exactly where they need to go to get this resolved, this problem.
Exactly. Everybody in your organization knows with a high degree of certainty if we need to deal with that particular laptop, where it was purchased, what the configuration is, what the warranty is, and whether or not it's worth working on. If it's had a 3-year warranty and we're on year 5, buy a new one. But if it's got a 3-year warranty and we're 2 months into the warranty, you need to call the vendor. Now, there's also standardizing on warranties, right? We recommend standardizing on at least a 3-year warranty where, if possible, we can't do this with Apple products, but with PC manufacturers, they have warranties where someone with a pulse shows up at your office with parts and does the repair in your office, because otherwise you have to ship your laptop off.
Yes,
for 2 weeks.
And so you should also bear in mind that that's not all manufacturers.
No,
some manufacturers just don't do that.
Correct.
So
yes,
do your research.
And we're happy to help you with that. Happy to let you know which ones do that. But the reality is that you need to pick stuff. Here, I'll make it this simple. If you're futzing with the details of your IT infrastructure, futzing, it's a Yiddish term, man. Futzing what? So if you're futzing with the details of your IT infrastructure, you're not standardized.
Right. And it's not just IT. We're IT.
We're IT
centric,
guys,
right?
so that's what we talk
Right.
about. But
But it goes across the board.
yes.
If you standardize on copier paper or toner, or I should do something even less IT, like coffee or snacks or whatever it is.
A snack vendor. That's
Yes.
a big one.
You need to be able to know what that warranty on that coffee is.
On that coffee is.
It might break halfway through, and
Yeah,
you're going to
may
be
end up getting a bad batch. And then what? You got people with stomach troubles. No, but seriously, it's it is one of those things that has to happen if you want to make your organization scalable.
And I see, you could say, well, we've only got 5 people, we've only got 10 people, we've only got 20 people. Okay,
we've only got fill in the blank.
Right, but yes, it's easier to manage when you're small.
Yes,
but you're still going to have efficiencies when you're small by just adopting this kind of standardization technique.
It still costs if you are not standardized and you have to pay someone an hourly rate.
Yeah.
And it's usually not a cheap hourly rate to try and figure out what you did when you purchased that laptop 3.5 years ago.
Right.
What have you saved?
Yeah. And
you've just blown all your savings out of the water because you're paying some guy or some group a large amount of money per hour to try and figure this thing out. Right. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're standardized, everybody knows what the detail is. There's nothing to figure out.
And it does take a few extra minutes when you're initially setting this up.
Of course it does.
But once you have this in place, it actually is easier to manage and maintain as you go.
Correct.
Going forward. So.
Yes. And it doesn't matter whether you're 2 or 3 people or whether you're 300, 400 people.
Yeah.
The process is the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just one of those things that from a management perspective, it makes long-term strategic sense for your organization to standardize everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a particular industry where a certain kind of compliancy is required of you,
forget about it. Yeah.
Oh man, if you're not standardized, they're going to mess with you. Just do it. Right. It's literally a choice. You just choose, set a line in the sand on a particular date and time and say, as of today, we're going to standardize on stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, and there are compliancy requirements, you will be forced into it and it'll be costly.
Yes. I mean, it's a lot of work either way. I mean,
it is.
We have an example of a client that kept purchasing other companies along the way.
Yeah.
And that's fine because each company that they purchased had their own IT vendor and their own management. So each one was kind of siloed.
Yes.
But as they have grown, as the complexity has mushroomed, they are now in a position where standardization is going to be just a tremendous boon for them when they acquire another new company. Fitting all those systems into their standardized system is going to save a huge amount of time and money down the street, down the lane. The more companies that are acquired, the more that project is going to take in terms of effort and money to get standardized.
Ultimately, well, yes, and if you've gone to the trouble of purchasing other companies, to grow the value of your company, and you do not standardize across the board in all of your organizations, you now have, let's say you're a main company and 5 other companies, you now have 6 different IT systems that when you go to sell your company, somebody's going to go, wait a minute, I have to go through this, and I want one vendor, which most people will want one vendor or one provider for IT. They now have to take their time and money to standardize across 6 organizations. This is going to be a problem, and they're going to basically offer either not buy the company if they're doing their due diligence, or they'll offer you a lower price for your company. This is some standard stuff that everybody needs to do this, and it makes life easier. You spend less money in the long run.
So that's a great point. if you're intending to sell this group of companies to somebody else, is it a group of companies that you want to sell, or is it one company that you're selling?
Correct.
And if it's a group of companies, okay, fair enough. But if it's one company you're trying to sell, then that acquiring company is going to have to invest a huge amount of money to standardize all of these different
because they
silos.
will spend the time. They will
Right.
standardize. That's a given. That's not a thing that might happen. That's a thing that will happen.
Yeah, and so not only are they going to have to do that and spend $1 million or more, or, depending on how big the company is, but also that brings uncertainty into the equation. If they're not already standardized, what are we going to find when we start to bring all of these things in? Are we going to find that this one company over here has been doing things incorrectly for years and has a huge liability?
Yes.
So that becomes a bit more of an opaque view of the acquiring company. It's like, well, I'm taking on risk here. It's not just that I've got to do all this work, but I'm taking on risk because I don't know.
Yes, there's a liability there, and depending on the industry you're in, that liability can be quite expensive should something go wrong. Especially if you're gathering information that has anything to do with personally identifiable information. Right.
Yeah.
So the reality is, it's just a good idea to do it.
Right.
At some point, it'll make your life easier. It makes everybody's life easier. You can have one guy in a particular city manage all those IT departments from one place because he or she will know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. But if not, then, and let's be honest, nobody does documentation well. I mean, they just don't. So, it's if you got 6 companies and nobody's documented anything, okay, now go figure this stuff out.
Right.
You know,
there are some great tools for documentation. There are some great tools for standardization. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, you can do this on a spreadsheet. It's not terribly complex. You don't need to invest a huge amount of money into some sort of fancy system.
No.
Just get it done, and that will pay dividends down the road.
It will pay a lot of dividends down the road, and it's just one of those things where somebody stepping in, if you're going to sell the company, somebody stepping in, if you're a small enough company and you're doing it on a spreadsheet, you can literally hand them the spreadsheet. You're done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's over. You've done all the work. There's no more questions for you to answer. Everything's on that spreadsheet, right? So take the time. You've gone to the trouble of setting up a business. You've gone to the trouble of growing a business. And if you're in a big enough where you've gone to the trouble of acquiring other companies, take the time, standardize everything, put everybody under the same rules and regulations. And then you can manage your people, especially if you have, hundreds of people that are dispersed. Not everybody's going to be in a single building anymore, right? We've got clients that they have employees all over the country. You need to be able to manage this stuff. You need to know what's going on. What are the rules that apply to everybody?
Yes.
Right. Anyway, that's the thing we're going to thump on the podium today is please, God, standardize on stuff, would you?
Yeah.
It'll make your life easier. It's what we need to do. Everybody does. And the more standardized you are, the easier it will be for you to manage your enterprise, and the easier it will be when the time comes to perhaps sell the enterprise for you to do so. And it'll be a more valuable thing for the acquiring parties.
Absolutely. So end of the lesson.
Yeah, end of the lesson. All right, close your notebooks. Put your pencils down. So that's it for now from Two Blokes and a Mic. Thanks again, as always, for watching, and on the podcast side of things, for listening to us. I'm still blown away by all the people that do that. Thank you. We couldn't do this without you. Please like and subscribe down below, and mash the little bell icon so you know when we put out a new video. And let us know what else you want to hear about. This has been, once again, Two Blokes and a Mic. We've wasted enough of your time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Ramin signing off.
And this is Dan, also signing off.
Have a great time, guys. Take care of yourselves. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Bye-bye.